Alright guys, the Rough Life here again with another episode of me driving European Truck Simulator. Let's see if I can get the buttons right. There we go. Quite a lot has happened since the last episode. I have figured that I don't necessarily have so much to talk about all the time. It's not really my thing. But when I do, I like to share it. Because this game is fun to me, and I think that if it's worthwhile for anybody to kind of get the thoughts that I have about, well, look at that, Tira's traffic doing its job, about how this relates to real life, then that's really, really cool. So a few things has happened. I got bored of the Klaas economy mod. I'll grant that it is very realistic. You're hardly making any money, and buying your first truck is really going to be a lot of work. And while that reflects reality very well, it's just not why I'm playing the game. This is nice and tight. Let's see. There we go. Almost in the ditch. There we go. I had to concentrate a little bit on that. Courtesy of Promods. And if I step on it, I'll make it here before that car. Taking a little bit more than your lane is actually quite a common trucker's thing to do. And as long as you're ahead of the cars, they'll stop for you, both in real life and in the game. I just did that in the roundabout, if you noticed. Yeah, okay. This getting out of Verona, I think had me a little bit concentrated on the driving. So, I've ditched Klaas economy mod. And what I'm going for now is Momo's economy mod. Momo is an excellent modder. You should check out the list of mods that is out from this modder. Yeah, I'm using a few. If you go to the Steam profile, you'll find I'm using a few of Momo's mods. This is going to be tight. The physics, the real life physics mod now, the last one that's out, is really, really cool. Wow, this is almost real life tight. And Momo's economy mod, I think, has managed to strike a very good balance between kind of, the fact that it's still a game, and it just kind of not making it so ridiculously easy to become a millionaire. So, while that would be, fun if it was real life, it really, really isn't. And I think that the amount of money you make in kind of the vanilla game is just so ridiculous that it a little bit kills your gameplay. And I mean, it's fun enough in the beginning, but then once you hit level 54, which I did on my profile, right, and then stay in the left. So that's why I was kind of trying. I tried to go, start from scratch, and make a YouTube series at the same time. See if that, does anything good for anybody. And what I'm also doing is I'm adding Tira's traffic mod, which I might have mentioned. And altogether, between traffic and economy, where you have occasional accidents, and those accidents really, really hurt, And SES introduced earlier this year police cars, so you have to watch it. And even if you do, every now and then you might come into a 50 a little sooner than you thought, because it takes some time to slow these beasts down. And then you know, a little bit of speeding, a little bit of poor planning with the map. I drove I drove in Denmark, and a lot of those small roads had cars, you know, going on and off, and you continuously had to stop. And with the accelerated time, that just totally killed my schedule. So I wasn't able to complete on time, and got a I mean, I didn't get the late, but I got the failure to sleep penalty. And that even with this Momo mod, which is not as harsh as Klaas economy, but the penalties hurt. And that, I think, is a very good way to make it realistic, is that you have to watch it, you have to drive carefully, you have to plan well, and if you do, you can make a profit. So I've been making a profit. This is actually my second truck. It's a Volvo. I'll show you the first one, because it was an excellent truck to start with, and that was something I also looked around a little bit for, was, you know, which if you have to go on a budget and prepare yourself that this first truck is when you're gonna spend a long time with, which of the trucks in the game is really the best. And I've got to say that while Scania seems to have a very dominant position in the game in general, the Volvo trucks are just, you know, obvious first trucks. They're definitely the winners. The FH16 Classic as your first truck comes with 540 horsepower, which is a lot more than, for example, the Iveco 360. So I even pulled, you know, locomotive and that kind of stuff. I did, however, get stuck driving exactly the same route that I drove now, going out of Verona. It was that uphill with a heavy load. I couldn't get that hill going. Or hang on, no, that might actually have been with a quick job, if I'm not mistaken. Anyhow, so if you want to do the economy mod, and be able to take the more well-paying jobs, then the Volvo FH16 Classic is definitely your first truck. I stepped up to the next, the newer Volvo, just because I like it. But in terms of engine capacity, I think the first Volvo is still superior. Yeah. So what I'll be doing with the series, the YouTube series, is that I will kind of drive quite a lot without you, so that you don't get bored from me just sitting and driving. And then you can get bored with me talking instead. And I'll do that whenever I feel like I have something to say. Like now, it's been a while. Let's change lanes. And so meanwhile, I've gotten some experience with Promods. Stuff is happening. It's good, but it's got bugs. I've had to abandon contracts because the trailer didn't, you know, fit someplace, and I've had the truck falling through after finishing a job at a quarry. It just kind of fell through the ground and ended up just, you know, waving goodbye to the world up there somewhere. I've had trailer spots not showing, and there's issues with the Promods. But if you can live with that, and you've kind of a little bit gotten bored with the regular, you know, game scenery, of course France is beautiful after the Vive la France, and I'm thinking mainly continental Europe, and I am really looking forward to. I haven't been there yet, but going to like Iceland and Faroe Islands, and Spitsbergen, and that kind of stuff. A total of 0 paid. How did that happen? That was weird. A total of 0 paid. I'm gonna have to report that to Momo. Yeah, so the Momo mod is still in beta testing, by the way. So, but I like it already. It's already giving a lot to the gameplay. Yeah, so Promods, it's really cool. It's worthwhile if you want to do the hassle or pay the little bit of money that it costs. Particularly for continental Europe, Germany, there's a lot of intersections that, and these kind of, you know, where the big highway autobahn ends up in 2 single lanes in the regular game, which is just ridiculous because that never ever happens in real life that way. No, hang on. Well, that was a little poorly marked, but like this here, I've got 2 lanes. I can just stay in the right lane, and that's kind of what you can do for real, is that you just, you know, if you want to go somewhere in Europe and you don't want to have a lot of trouble, which is how life is as a trucker, you just kind of stay in the right lane, and you're able to just stay in the lane. Every now and then you'll be choosing, but then there's more like 3 and 4 and 5 lanes, then you can just have to pick one. So they've done a much better job with that, with the Pro mods. I don't know exactly why. Like here, wow. I was just proved wrong. That was, so that's the kind of stuff that you don't have so much in Pro mods, where you get surprised like that. Apparently there still is some, but that's what there's less of. Yeah, there's not much more to say about Promods. I've started a separate playlist where I'm just gonna kind of do a no comment highlights of stuff that happens between Promods and Tira's traffic mod, and if there's a little bit of beautiful scenery, and if there's car accidents and buses flying like I've seen, and that kind of stuff. I'll just put that in a no comment, short clips, and you can enjoy it or not. And yeah, and you can, total of 7 euros on a toll. I don't know. Isn't that ridiculously little? I'm gonna have to look at that a little bit. Yeah. So, in terms of the trucks, this Volvo here is my second. I'm hoping that we're gonna come up to... Yeah, let's just pull over and look at the truck, because I'm a little happy with it, being only my second truck and all. This trailer, however, was one from the Pro mod assets, and it didn't support advanced trailer coupling, which I'm not so happy with. I thought I had removed the trailers, actually. Let's see. Okay, so here's my truck, which I think is quite cool. It's got curtains, it has beacons, which of course, you know, this is essential in the game to have beacons. And maybe most importantly, it has a coffee machine. And the coffee machine is something that I'm a little surprised that SCS didn't put in their kind of cabin accessories DLC whenever that came. Let's see with my light on, yeah. Because let's try not to hit anything. Because a coffee machine is just an essential. So that alone. I mean, there's a lot of good things in the Sizzles mega pack, among other things, these minions and Garfield and stuff. But the coffee machine is just, because like all of the trucks in the fleet that I drove, had a coffee machine. Granted, mine didn't for some time after it caught fire while we were driving through Sweden. Luckily, we were two drivers. The other driver noticed, we both noticed something smelling burnt. And the other driver saw that it was the coffee machine that had caught fire. And while he was ripping at the cords, I rolled down the window. We did this kind of coordinated without talking, and suddenly the coffee machine took flight through the Swedish forests, and we had to stop at gas stations for coffee from then on, until we were back, and then we got another coffee machine from headquarters. But the coffee machine is definitely something that had to be there. Yeah, so that's one of the pleasures of having your own truck in the game, is you can put a coffee machine in there and it just feels so much more real. So yeah, speaking of coffee machines, I drove for some time removals, meaning hauling people's furniture and possessions and that kind of stuff. It was a little more blood and sweat and than kind of regular cargo, because it was quite physical work to haul the pianos and furniture and everything on the trucks, stack it and get it here and there. But that's also a little bit kind of how I got to go all over Europe. So I'm sure you would otherwise, but because of driving people's possessions, then you also get to go into neighborhoods and small villages, and I got to see a lot of fun stuff, and not just the industrial areas. And there was this one helper that was driving with me. We were usually at least two. He wasn't a driver, but he'd grown up in trucks. He'd always been in trucks from he was a little kid, and so it was one of his things was that he kept the coffee machine going continuously. So as soon as I had emptied my cup, he would fill it up. As soon as the coffee machine was empty, he would, put on another load. Would throw the filter out of the window and have a water jug available. And it was just constantly churning new coffee. And if for some reason, because I could only handle so much coffee, I wouldn't finish my cup, and it would get a little bit, cold, and I wasn't able to drink it, and he had to throw it out and stuff. He'd be seriously upset. He would be offended that I didn't finish my coffee, and that he would have to, make new while I didn't finish my old. This was extremely upsetting to him, and I tried to explain. There's only so much coffee I can drink, and he was, but that sort of didn't go through. It's because we had to have coffee. So he was a funny guy. He was even able to, which is, look at that. Just as I'm talking about it, we were onto a little bit of a bumpy road. I don't know if you have any experience with this, but like in springtime, when frozen Nordic roads are thawing, the whole road will get a little kind of bumpy, wavy, because it thaws unevenly, and some places will fall and others will still be up with the frost and stuff. So you get this incredibly bumpy road even on the highways. And he was like in the operation of pouring coffee for me when we hit the biggest bump ever on that road up to northern Norway. It was a hefty enough bump that the truck shocks kind of bottomed out. There was nothing more to go on. It gave a proper thunk, and we were just jumping in our chairs and everything. And this happened while he was pouring coffee, and somehow, because he had grown up in trucks and stuff, he just had that motion down so well that he didn't spill a drop. He just kept holding the cup and the coffee, and we were flying in the cabin. And at the end of it, he was like, "Here's your coffee." All right, yeah, cool. That was impressive. So I've got special memories with. Let's see. I guess I'm gonna have to go to the real thing with coffee, and that's partly why it was essential to switch to Momo's economy mod that allows you to have your own truck, so you can put a coffee machine in it. Thank you, Momo. So yeah, so that was, I guess basically it for now in terms of pro mods and switching economy mods and coffee machines and all of that. So I shall fast forward until the end, and then I'll show you the other truck, which was my first truck. Alright, so coming up on our final destination, I don't know if you noticed towards the end of the fast forward there, I kind of got stuck in traffic. Trucks were going back and forth and all over the place, and I happened to do a kind of wrong lane change, I guess. I got stuck in the left lane. And what I've got now is I have 3 minutes until my next rest stop. I couldn't stop to sleep because this was a that's one of the reasons why I prefer doing World of Trucks jobs, is because you can kind of always stop and sleep. You don't have to stress about the delivery time. So let's see if I can do this real quick and not get a penalty for avoiding sleeping. Let's see here, I think we're coming on about right now. Just a little more that way. Oh yeah, you're happy with that? I'm happy with it because I need to go sleep. And you'll see what's really important at this point in the game is, of course, making experience. Money is it's good that you make some, but you'll need a loan to buy a truck anyhow. So I'll show you how I've done my skills. Put everything on high value cargo as a start, unlocked fragile and long distance just to be able to get a little bit more. Working on the dangerous goods to kind of unlock those. Those are usually better paid. The high value with heavy cargo goes well. Oh yeah, Granted that I've added Momos again from Momo, the fair cargo prices mod, which I think makes more sense than the regular, particularly when you're doing an economy mod. I mean, in the vanilla game you make so much money for each delivery that it barely makes a difference. Let's see. I guess I'm just gonna have to. How do I do that? Oh yeah. No, I don't have to. I've delivered. So I can show you the other truck. Let's see. It's on the road. How come I can't drive it? Oh yeah, because that was the one I had. There we go. So Lily is my worker. She's currently on duty. She's got... Oh, how about that? She's got a negative daily profit. This is why we're beta testing. Let's see how that develops. Minus 2,000 and minus 1 on apples. Okay. Gonna have to get back to Momo on that, I guess. See how that develops. Because the whole point of having a worker is so that you have at least some basic income, and hopefully at some point enough of them will pay off your loan. Like I said, this is still in beta testing, and I've only just now come far enough to hire a worker. So we'll see how that develops. Meanwhile, here's the real deal. This is going to take 11 hours. That's fine. I wonder if that'll give me my sleep. It'll at least put me at my garage, and then I can just go sleep immediately if I want. Yep. So that also means that I got the sleep I needed. So here is my awesome first truck, and I'm quite happy with it. I mean, it's got a single axle and all of that, and so I don't know if this truck legally could pull one of those locomotives at all. I don't know. There's some restrictions because of the axle, so you might have to need the 2 or the 3, extra. But anyhow, it's got 540 horsepower. This can be your first truck for 100,000 euros, and when the loan comes available, then you can go ahead and buy that. And I've got to say that it's a very pleasant first truck. And look, I've got the coffee machine. So that's I guess it for now. Go Volvo in the beginning of your game if you want to do economy, and have fun. And I'll catch you later. Bye bye.